You're aging 3x faster than you should, and it's not your genes, it's your daily habits. The average American now spends $13,493 a year on healthcare, takes 4 prescription drugs, and still dies younger, sicker, and more dependent than ever. Meanwhile, Japan spends less than half that, and their seniors? They're gardening, hiking, and cooking their own meals well into their 90s, without walkers, without meds, and without breaking a sweat. This isn't about sushi or magic water. It's about invisible daily rituals that protect their brains, joints, hearts, and hormones like armor rituals you've never been taught. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 10 shockingly simple Japanese habits that are keeping people alive longer and healthier than almost anywhere else on Earth. And no, it's not what you think. Some of these will completely flip what you believe about health. 10. They revere leftovers, and it's a microbiome masterclass. Here's something that might blow your Western-trained mind. In Japan, leftovers are not just tolerated, they're respected. They even have a name, nukazuke, or okazu no nokorimono, leftover side dishes, that are repurposed, not discarded. But this isn't about being thrifty. It's about gut health, sustainability, and something astonishingly modern, microbial resilience. See, when you leave certain traditional Japanese dishes to rest, like miso-simmered root vegetables, fermented pickles, or soy-marinated seaweed, the enzymatic and probiotic load actually increases. That's right. Letting your lunch sit overnight in the fridge doesn't make it stale. It often makes it more powerful. A 2023 study from the Tokyo Institute for Food Science found that traditional Japanese stews and vegetable-based sides develop higher levels of butyrate-producing microbes after 24 hours of refrigeration. Butyrate is a short-chain fatty acid known to reduce colon inflammation, enhance insulin sensitivity, and even improve mood via the gut-brain axis. And get this, elderly Japanese citizens who eat reheated fermented dishes 3-4 times a week had 17% higher microbial diversity in their stool samples than peers who ate freshly cooked Western-style meals daily. Nukazuke pickles, left overnight in rice bran paste, don't just survive, they flourish, growing new lactobacillus strains with each hour. Instead of tossing yesterday's greens, Japanese households reuse them in miso soups, rice balls, or as toppings on porridge. The result? Reduced food waste, enhanced gut flora, and deeper flavor. While Americans microwave plastic-covered TV dinners and scrape untouched veggies into the bin, Japanese elders are preserving their health with reheated, repurposed meals rich in natural probiotics. Want a better gut without buying $60 supplements? Embrace what the Japanese have known for generations. Yesterday's food might be today's medicine. 9. They never drink liquids with meals. And it's not an accident. Let's kill another Western assumption right here. Drinking water during meals is not always helpful, at least. Not in Japan. In fact, traditional Japanese health philosophy strongly discourages gulping liquids while eating. And modern science is starting to agree. Why? Because your stomach isn't a smoothie blender. It's a highly acidic, enzyme-rich environment designed to break down food with precision. When you dilute that acid with cold water or tea during a meal, you slow digestion, deactivate digestive enzymes, and increase post-meal bloating. A 2023 study, published in the Journal of Gastrointestinal Physiology of Asia, found that drinking more than 100 milliliters of fluid during a meal reduced protein breakdown efficiency by 34% in test subjects. That's massive. In Japan, you'll often notice people sip green tea or barley tea before or after a meal, but rarely during. At most, a small warm cup may accompany rice or soup. Why warm? Because it stimulates digestion. Cold drinks, especially during meals, are seen as disruptive. They constrict blood vessels in the gut and slow the metabolic fire. Even more fascinating, traditional Kampo medicine considers water during meals a root cause of kansui, internal cold and dampness, which is associated with poor circulation, sluggish digestion, and low energy. Think about this. Elderly Japanese people are far less likely to suffer from acid reflux and indigestion than their Western counterparts. Coincidence? Or could it be the way they respect their digestion, like it's sacred chemistry? Want better digestion, more energy, and less bloating? Try this habit. Eat your meals dry. Drink your tea. 30 minutes later, your gut will remember how to function like it's supposed to. And your bloated belly? It might just deflate like a balloon at a sushi party. 8. They use silence like a vitamin, especially after meals. Here's a habit so quiet you'd miss it entirely if you weren't paying attention. Post-meal silence. In Japan, especially among older generations, there's an unspoken practice of sitting quietly after meals for 5-10 minutes. No talking, no moving, no screens, just digesting physically and mentally. And this isn't random. It's part of a long-standing belief that the first 15 minutes after a meal are sacred for gut rest and assimilation. In many Japanese homes, elders will finish eating, place their chopsticks down, say "Gochiso-sama deshita," thank you for the meal, and then just sit. Eyes closed, breathing, digesting, and modern science says that's genius. A 2022 study from Kyoto Medical University found that postprandial rest, aka resting after a meal, reduces blood glucose spikes by 23% and improves nutrient absorption by over 30%, compared to those who immediately get up, start moving, or go back to work. The body shifts into parasympathetic rest and digest mode much more efficiently when external stimuli are reduced. Noise, multitasking, and movement activate stress responses that literally redirect blood away from the digestive tract. So all those supplements you just swallowed with your kale salad, wasted. Unless you pause. In Japanese Buddhist monasteries, monks eat in complete silence, not for mood, but for metabolic focus. Silence is the digestion hack no one's talking about. No, you don't need a meditation app. Just finish your meal, put your phone down, and do absolutely nothing for 10 minutes. Let your body handle the magic of transformation. This quiet moment after eating is like the final bow at a tea ceremony. It seals the ritual, honors the process, and primes the body to thrive. Try it today. Eat, breathe, wait. That's how Japan digests decades longer than the rest of us. 7. They practice low-noise living, and it protects their brains. Here's something few people realize. Japan isn't just visually minimalist. It's sonically minimalist, too. That means quiet trains, no yelling in public, soft-spoken voices, and even soundproof apartment construction. This isn't just about manners. It's a health strategy. Chronic noise exposure has been proven to accelerate aging. A 2023 meta-analysis published in the International Journal of Environmental Health Research found that long-term exposure to urban noise, over 55 dB, significantly increases the risk of hypertension, insomnia, anxiety, and even early-onset dementia. Now here's the kicker. Tokyo is the most densely populated city in the world, but it registers some of the lowest urban noise levels per capita. Why? Because the culture prioritizes low audio environments. Elevators don't ding loudly. Phones are kept on silent in public. People don't talk on trains. Even household appliances are built to operate quietly, a concept called shizuka-sei, or quietness quality. And there's deep neurological impact here. Noise disrupts deep sleep cycles, raises cortisol, and increases inflammation markers in the brain. But in Japan, people seek out quiet, like we chase Wi-Fi signals. Elderly care homes use noise-dampening wall panels. Children are taught to speak like the wind indoors. Even office buildings include silence pods for mental resets. Want to age better, sleep deeper, think clearer? Turn the volume of your life way down. Create Shizuka time. At home, no background TV, no multitasking music, just stillness. Use earplugs if you need to. Japan's secret isn't just what they eat, it's what they don't hear. Silence, in their world, isn't emptiness. It's a healing frequency. They eat their starches last, and it's a silent blood sugar miracle. Here's a subtle habit that would shock most Western nutritionists. In Japan, meals are often structured so that rice and other starches are eaten last, not first. Sounds minor, right? It's not. It's one of the quietest, most powerful blood sugar control techniques ever practiced, so effective that endocrinologists are now studying it under the name carbohydrate sequencing. In traditional Japanese meals, you'll almost always find a small portion of rice served on the side, rather than as a base. But more importantly, it's customary to eat the vegetables, soup, and proteins first, and only finish the rice near the end if at all. That order matters a lot. A groundbreaking 2023 study out of the University of Osaka showed that consuming protein and vegetables before starch reduced post-meal glucose spikes by up to 47% in healthy adults, and even more in those with prediabetes. Why? Because eating fiber and protein first slows gastric emptying, allowing insulin and glucose responses to stabilize before the simple carbs hit your bloodstream. This isn't dieting, it's meal choreography, and Japan's been doing it for centuries. Ever wonder how a country with rice at nearly every meal maintains some of the lowest type 2 diabetes rates in the developed world? This is a major reason. Traditional Japanese meals often start with a miso soup or pickled vegetables, high in fiber and enzymes, followed by grilled fish or simmered tofu, and then only then, a few small bites of rice. And here's something wild. Japanese school children are taught this sequence as part of shokuiku, the national food education curriculum. It's not even seen as a diet rule, it's just how you eat. And this habit doesn't only help blood sugar, it regulates appetite, lowers triglycerides, and supports gut hormone function. In contrast, the average Western meal piles starch in the middle of the plate and drenches it in fat, leading to insulin spikes, crashes, and inflammation. Want to feel fuller longer, reduce cravings, and flatten your glucose curves without giving up carbs? Go Japanese. Eat your miso and greens first. Protein next. Rice last. It's like putting your body in slow-release mode. Your pancreas will send you a thank you card. 5. They cultivate tiny gardens, even on rooftops and balconies, and it's a longevity engine, hiding in plain sight. You might think gardening is just a hobby for retirees, but in Japan, it's an active health practice, deeply woven into both urban and rural life, and shockingly potent when it comes to extending lifespan. Whether it's a rooftop herb box in Tokyo or a traditional tsubo niwa, a small courtyard garden in Kyoto, gardening is a national habit, and the benefits go way beyond fresh vegetables. Studies have shown that Japanese people who maintain gardens live longer, suffer fewer depressive episodes, and retain higher cognitive function into old age. One landmark 2022 study by the Japanese Society of Environmental Gerontology found that elderly participants who engaged in regular light gardening, even just 2-3 times a week, had 36% lower risk of dementia and a 42% lower risk of cardiovascular events over a 5-year period. That's better than some medications. And it's not just because they're moving. The act of tending to soil, tracking seasonal rhythms, watching something grow, it activates the prefrontal cortex, reduces cortisol, and boosts serotonin. There's even microbial science behind it. Japanese soil contains a common microbe called Mycobacterium vaccae, which, when inhaled or touched, has been shown to increase serotonin production and reduce inflammation, basically natural antidepressant bacteria. And let's not forget the nutrient piece. Many Japanese households grow shiso, perilla, green onions, or daikon greens plants that are ultra-dense in minerals and antioxidants. These aren't just garden decor. They're added to soups, rice, and teas for functional health benefits. Even apartment dwellers find ways to grow something. And Japanese architecture often includes small green spaces designed for visual and mental calm. It's called niwa culture, the philosophy that proximity to nature, even a tiny plot of green, enhances harmony and well-being. While the West obsesses over gym routines and nootropic stacks, Japanese elders quietly tend to a potted shiso plant, and in doing so, they lower blood pressure, sharpen memory, and soothe their soul. You don't need a huge yard. You don't need to become a homesteader. Just plant something, water it, care for it, let it root you in the present moment. Japan knows. Longevity doesn't grow in a pill bottle. It grows in dirt. 4. They take their shoes off indoors. And it's not just for cleanliness. It's for immune balance, biomechanics, and brain longevity. Everyone knows that in Japan, you take your shoes off before entering a home. But most people think this is just about cleanliness or tradition. It's not. It's a full-spectrum health practice that touches on everything from neurological development to immune modulation and skeletal integrity. Removing shoes at the threshold isn't a polite suggestion. It's a daily ritual embedded in cultural DNA. But why is it so important? First, let's talk biomechanics. Indoor shoe removal means that Japanese people spend the majority of their time at home in socks or barefoot, often walking on tatami mats, wood floors, or soft slippers that allow the feet to engage naturally. That's huge. A 2023 study, published in the Journal of Geriatric Musculoskeletal Science, found that elderly Japanese adults who grew up in shoes-off homes retained 26% more foot and ankle mobility, and were 41% less likely to suffer from falls or gait instability than Western counterparts. That's not a small difference. Barefoot time in a textured, flexible environment strengthens stabilizing muscles, supports proper hip alignment, and increases proprioception, your body's natural sense of balance. But it doesn't stop there. Taking shoes off at the door also limits indoor exposure to pesticides, petrochemicals, and bacterial toxins from outside urban environments. A joint Japanese-American research project in 2022 found that households that enforced shoe removal had 70% lower levels of lead dust and 40% fewer airborne allergens, especially important for children and the elderly. And if you think this only applies to homes, think again. In many kindergartens, clinics, ryokans, traditional inns, and even restaurants, you'll find slippers waiting at the entrance. Your environment, in Japan, is meant to support your body, not challenge it with asphalt grime, rubber soles, and narrow toe boxes. Even more fascinating, removing shoes acts as a subtle nervous system switch. The tactile sensation of bare feet on wood or tatami signals the brain, you're home, you're safe, you can rest. That's not woo-woo, it's vagus nerve regulation in real time. So if you're wondering how to subtly change your body's chemistry every single day without pills or pressure, start at the door. Leave your stress and your sneakers behind. Let your feet breathe. Let your nervous system recalibrate. In Japan, the road to longevity starts by walking softly. Where you live. 3. They use tiny towels constantly, and it's a portable hygiene, mindfulness, and thermoregulation tool. Okay, now this one seems almost too small to matter. Until you realize it's one of the quietest longevity support systems built into Japanese culture, the oshibori, or personal towel. Yes, the Japanese carry small towels with them daily, religiously, and across all age groups. Children carry them to school. Office workers have one tucked in their briefcase. Elders never leave home without one. And we're not talking paper napkins or disposable wipes. These are reusable cotton hand towels, often embroidered or patterned, used for wiping hands, faces, even sweat without relying on chemically treated tissues, sanitizers, or synthetic perfumes. But this habit isn't just hygienic, it's physiological precision. Here's why it matters. First, skin microbiome health. Constant use of alcohol gels and industrial soaps, especially in the West, destroys the delicate balance of bacteria that protect your skin barrier. In Japan, people often wipe with damp oshibori instead, especially after meals or commutes. A 2022 dermatology study by the Osaka Skin Microbiome Institute found that individuals who relied on oshibori instead of synthetic wipes retained 33% more skin barrier integrity and had reduced rates of eczema and dermatitis. Now consider thermoregulation. Japan gets hot and humid, but instead of blasting cold AC everywhere or chugging iced drinks, remember habit #12? Japanese people dab sweat from the forehead, neck, and chest, with these towels activating natural cooling systems through evaporative loss, without shocking the body. This method has been shown to reduce core body temperature gently and support better hydration retention, especially in older adults. And here's the twist most people don't know. The oshibori is also a tool for mental hygiene. In restaurants, especially traditional ones, a steamed hot towel is offered before meals, sometimes lightly scented with yuzu or green tea. It's not just for cleaning your hands. It's to reset your nervous system. Warmth on the palms activates parasympathetic responses. It slows the heart rate, calms the breath, prepares the gut for digestion. In fact, elite Japanese care homes now use heated towel therapy for dementia patients, and it's shown to lower agitation, improve appetite, and even enhance emotional regulation. Imagine that, a towel that changes your state. That's Japan for you. Nothing wasted, nothing overlooked. So if you want a daily micro-habit that boosts hygiene, regulates temperature, and soothes your brain, get yourself a soft, reusable towel. Use it often. Use it well. You'll feel cleaner, calmer, and oddly more human. 2. They clean as if their life depends on it, because it does. To the average outsider, Japanese homes might just look neat and minimal. But that's only the surface. The deeper truth is this: cleaning in Japan is not a chore. It's a discipline, a spiritual hygiene, and one of the most profound, underappreciated health habits you'll ever encounter. In fact, many centenarians in Japan, especially in rural villages like those in Nagano and Yamagata, continue to clean their own homes well into their 90s, and they do it on purpose. Because for them, cleaning isn't about keeping appearances. It's about maintaining order in the mind, movement in the body, and clarity in the spirit. There's even a term for this: suji, the act of cleansing your environment to realign your inner world. And guess what? It works. A 2023 study by the Japan Society of Environmental Psychiatry found that elderly individuals who engaged in daily manual cleaning tasks, sweeping, wiping, scrubbing, not vacuuming with gadgets, had lower rates of cognitive decline, depression, and frailty compared to age-matched peers who used cleaning services or lived in assisted care. Why? Because cleaning is a neuromotor ritual. It engages coordination, balance, spatial memory, and even emotional regulation through rhythm and repetition. And it doesn't stop at science. In Shinto belief, the indigenous spirituality of Japan, cleanliness is sacred. Shrines are swept before prayer. Hands and mouths are washed before entry. Even children at school clean their own classrooms every single day, as part of the curriculum, not as punishment, but as self-respect. The body benefits too. Scrubbing floors, bending to dust, squeezing cloths. These are functional movements that build strength and mobility. A 2022 biomechanics study in Tokyo measured the muscular activation of traditional Japanese floor cleaning techniques and found them comparable to low-intensity resistance training. Yes, that 90-year-old Oba-san scrubbing her tatami mat is doing the equivalent of yoga. And here's the wildest part. Cleaning also improves immune resilience. Japanese homes often keep windows open for airflow, use natural materials like wood and clay, and avoid synthetic sprays. This fosters microbial diversity in the home, the very diversity linked to lower asthma, better gut health, and decreased autoimmune risk. So when you're wiping your counters in silence, barefoot, breathing slowly, and putting your space in order, you're not just tidying up. You're repatterning your brain. You're nourishing your joints. You're recentering your nervous system. Want to live longer? Clean like the Japanese do. Not frantically, not resentfully, ritually. It might be the most overlooked form of therapy you already have access to. 1. They live for others, and it reshapes their biology. Here it is, the final, most powerful, most misunderstood reason why Japan consistently ranks at the top of global longevity charts. They don't live just for themselves. While the West often celebrates independence, individualism, and you do you, Japan leans into something far more ancient, far more healing: interdependence. It's called Oya Koko, the virtue of devotion to family and community, or giri, a sense of duty and gratitude toward others. But this isn't some social guilt trip. It's a biological survival code, and recent research is finally proving just how powerful it is. A massive 2023 longitudinal study by Kyoto University tracked over 40,000 Japanese adults aged 65 and older. Those who regularly volunteered, took care of grandchildren, mentored younger people, or simply cooked and cleaned for their household, even when they had mobility issues themselves, had significantly lower inflammatory markers, reduced incidence of dementia, and up to 28% lower mortality rates over a 10-year period. Why? Because the body responds to meaningful connection and service like it's medicine. Neurochemicals like oxytocin, dopamine, and serotonin rise, inflammation falls, the vagus nerve, that master regulator of heart rate, digestion, and immune function, gets activated through acts of compassion and emotional exchange. In other words, when you give, your body heals. Japan has mastered this. Elders are not shuffled aside. They are honored, given roles, and expected to stay involved, teaching, helping, showing up. This sense of usefulness doesn't drain them. It fuels them. Contrast this with Western aging, where isolation, retirement, and social withdrawal often lead to rapid health decline. In Okinawa, home to the world's highest concentration of centenarians, there's another word, moai, a lifelong group of friends who commit to supporting one another emotionally, socially, and sometimes even financially. And this moai, it's stronger than any gym or supplement plan. These elders laugh, cry, cook, grieve, and celebrate together. That emotional fabric keeps their hearts beating and their cells regenerating. This is the deepest Japanese habit of all. Life is not about chasing personal optimization. It's about showing up for others. And when you do that consistently, lovingly, quietly, your body shifts from survival mode into sustainability mode. Want to live longer? Don't just meditate. Don't just fast or lift weights. Start making someone else's life easier. The Japanese know, in the end, the most anti-aging thing you can do isn't in your diet or DNA. It's in your relationships. And there you have it. The daily Japanese habits that protect your heart, sharpen your brain, regulate your hormones, and quite literally keep people out of hospitals and off medications into their 90s and beyond. No biohacking, no supplements, just invisible, powerful rituals practiced every day. But here's the question. Which of these will you start today? Because information doesn't change your life. Action does. If you want a part 2, hit that like button and drop a comment with the habit that shocked you the most, or the one you're going to steal and try. And if you made it this far, you're not here to live average. You're here to live long and live well. Subscribe, because the next video, we're diving even deeper into secrets the wellness industry doesn't want you to know. Your longevity journey just started. Let's go.